Thank you, Chair. I'll direct my question to Chief Montour. Chief, in 2016, former Justice Minister Jody Wilson-Raybould argued that simplistic approaches such as adopting the UNDRIP as being Canadian law are unworkable, and respectfully, a political distraction to undertaking the hard work actually required to implement it. Justice officials told me in my critics briefing on Bill C-15 that it will not bind the Crown and that the only obligation this bill creates is to formulate an action plan. The committee was told that while the goal would be to seek consensus, the Justice Minister defined consultation as being heard, being considered, sometimes having an impact, not all of the time. So the AFN and various academics have very clearly advised not to proceed with amendments. Is this one of those times where people with any opposition or concern to the bill can't have any impact at all? Speaking on behalf of rights holders, as you can, I'd like to know your advice. Should we listen to the concerns raised and try to enhance this bill through amendments? Or should we gloss over concerns for the sake of expediency, as many others have asked us to do? Thank you.
Thank you for your question, Senator MacDonald. Let me start just by saying, I was aware that when Jody Wilson-Raybould was Minister of Justice, that those statements were made. And I would say that maybe was expressed from a perspective of the Canadian Constitution in terms of how it relates to Indigenous peoples in Canada. I will also take note and speak to the fact that Canada was initially one of those member states that was in opposition to the passage of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. And resulting from those objections and concerns, we arrive at Article 46. So we have listened to, we have heard all of those comments that have been made about the need to move forward with this bill without amendments and so on, and we will look at an action plan. And you said it yourself, that this doesn't really offer anything but some commitment to some particular process pursued by the Government of Canada, along with certain groups to develop something of a working plan. But it really does not implement the United Nations Declaration of Law. Even the government officials have said as much to us. So this is a concern. We have to insist, particularly because my nation resides in the province of Quebec, which itself sees itself as a state, and it has no recognition of our right, our sovereign right, our inherent right to self-government, and that's problematic. And it's one of the reasons the AFNQL took the position that it had in terms of not being able to accept the bill as it is right now without changes to 2.2 and the repudiation of the doctrine.
Thank you, Chief.